What is up, everybody? Forgive me. I do have the flu right now, actually. So I did take a couple days off, and then our house got hit with the flu. The girls got it, and then when theirs went away, sure enough. And I'm right at the peak of it all, too. So I apologize in advance for the clacking sound of cough drops and the coughing and occasional sneezing. But I feel like I was away too long and I had to come and check on the crew. So, what's up, crew? How was your Christmas? That's the poll question. Great, can't complain, or bah humbug? Shout out to Libby German. I think today might even be her birthday, right? What's going on, GP? Echoing. Are you guys getting an echo? Thanks, Don. You guys hearing that? Good to see you, Don. Jill Moser. Phil Bond. What's up, Phil? TJ. TJ, shit is back on the menu. Danny B. This one made me chuckle a little bit. But Westville was so mean to Ricky Boy. Yeah, I don't agree with the Gen Pop stuff, but what's going on, Rescue? Brett Decker. Okay, thanks, Phil. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I've been cautious of echoing because I've been getting a couple of you out there letting me know that there's been some strange echo. Usually that's with the guest, though. What's going on, Wanda? Shout out to Missouri. How you doing, Miss Dog Lover? GP says, I had COVID, but thank goodness was still able to have our Christmas at my son's. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what we have. The Kung Flu. That's what I call it. What's going on, Patty? Wife Lilith, how you doing? Oh, so it is her birthday. Sleuth Reloaded, what up? All right, let's put this up on the screen for everybody. Let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. So Richard Allen, doc number 273819. Facility location, Westville Control Unit. But look at this earliest possible release date. That's crazy. $21.20. It's weird how people get sentenced. It's like he's most likely not even gonna live through the next 30 years, you know? Statistically speaking. 65 years, even. Another 65. What's going on, Copper? If you guys are just joining, I apologize for the clacking sound. I am pretty sick right now. But I wanted to jump online because I've been missing you guys and talk about this. And that song from Alanis Morissette comes to mind. I think the title might be Isn't It Ironic? Or Ironic. Lila says 2120 is still not long enough. But I mean, it's just so ridiculous. It's like, even if you give him 65 years, that's still a life sentence. You know what I mean? So unless there's like some miracles of modern science and medicine, like the rest is for show. Like, what does that even mean? Nobody on earth right now will be alive at, at that point in time. You could be born today, and you're not living that long. Death penalty. Yeah, definitely warranted. But strategically, from a prosecutor's perspective, I think it puts too much pressure on a jury. What's up, Hathers? Beth, good to see you. That's so crazy to see that date. 2120. Seems so far away. Ironic. Isn't it ironic? I like that song. Yeah, me too, Missouri. I'm like right at the peak of it, like where you're starting to get like all congested and coughing and kind of like a sore throat. But I took some ibuprofen, enjoying my burnt ass Burger King coffee. Man, why do they burn the coffee? And finally found some cough drops that are actually worth a damn. Yeah, it is. April 26th of 2120. Yeah, it's no big deal. You know, it's not like I'm in some kind of excruciating pain or anything. It's just annoying, really. I just feel out of it, kind of like delirious, like, ooh. That's not nice, Jill. Little typo. Christine, what's up? Hope you feel better soon and family. Christmas was so wonderful with my family, all grandkids. Yeah, I didn't get to go see my mom because I was all sick. Thanks, I appreciate it. I hope today is the peak, you know. Not to be gross or anything, but when you start hacking that shit up, I feel like that's the peak of it. It's all downhill. Yeah, she was pretty good. She had her own little style. I wish I could play that song without getting hit with a copyright. What's going on, Rescue? Um, I don't know. They're downstairs, but the ones that I don't like. So either you have. Oh, here. I think I have another one in my pocket. But the ones that I can't really mess with are the Vicks. Oh yeah, yeah. See, these ones I have in my pocket are the Vicks. Vapo Cool. Yeah, I ain't taking those. They give me heartburn. It's like they're too gnarly or they're too weak. But I found a pretty good medium. What's going on, Vegas? Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I was missing you guys. I took a couple days off and then I got hit with this damn illness. Plus, I've been working on some videos. I have one on Brian Koberger coming out in a couple days. It's called, here, let me pull up the thumbnail actually. So, this is a rough draft of a thumb that I'm working on. But I'm gonna do it more like that old story, old lady that lives in a shoe, like make his whole head like the house, or I might just leave it like that. I don't know. Little 4-minute video. Well, we haven't been live in a minute. That's why I said F it. Yeah, so if I mute it for a while, it's probably because I'm coughing. I'll be wide, Lilith. Yeah, if you were a heavy set girl, that would kind of be a little bit of a burn. Kathy L, welcome in. Most BK coffee is on demand brew like soda machines. Oh, really? Me, I'm in Phoenix. Do they still have a regular old fashioned brew machine? I don't know. I don't ever go inside. What's up, Jeanette? With a bang up cold. Yeah, hopefully. Like I said, I'm at the peak. And usually it gets worse. Like, you'll know where you're at when you wake up in the morning, or like I had a horrible night last night. I couldn't really sleep because that's when I started coughing and um, like having issues with my temperature. I think at one point it got to 101. So I had to make sure I was waking up and taking like ibuprofen. And then I tried to take that Alka-Seltzer. Usually it works, but I was started even my stomach was like feeling sick. So yeah, it was rough. So I'm assuming it's all downhill from here. I don't know what the ones are downstairs, but they're very sweet. They're not all minty and shit. Yeah, that's how I like to do it. But I'm not all stuffy. Like I'm a little bit stuffy, but not to the point where it's bothering me. The Shadow investigates. What is up? Well, we'll see what goes on with the appeal. Check back. We'll check back on that question or that comment in a year. He thought Westville was bad before. He made enemies accusing people of shit. He will never sleep peacefully. They'll all forget about it. He'll become just another memory. Somebody spending the rest of their life in a place they were heading anyway. Robin D. Me too, Robin. Thanks. What's up, Stephanie? Good to see you. Audra, how you doing? I had a really good Christmas. Did you guys get everything that you asked for from Santa? Let's check on the poll. How was your Christmas? 49% of you said great. 45 said can't complain. 7 said bah humbug. All right. So I'm reaching out to, well, now it's 6%. Who is out here saying bah humbug? Show yourself. Yeah, what's up with that, Hathers? You just staying busy? Yeah, I'll try to reach out to him. I'm sure you guys are interested in what he has to say. So yeah, on behalf of the crew, what's up, True Crime Fangirl? Stephanie, yep, he's back at Westville. Here it says Westville Control Unit. Here, let me put it back on the screen. Look at the earliest possible release date, April 26th of 2120. It's ridiculous. Thanks, Shadow. I'm sure here in about an hour, I'll need to pop some more ibuprofen, drink a shit ton of water, maybe take a little nap. Yeah, definitely. I know better. I was more queasy, like car sick feeling. What's up, Jessica? How you doing? Jerry? Oh, scrub report. I'm gonna go get Lisa Left Eye. Dizam. Imagine. What's up, Donna? Donna Salamander. Grunge Truck, what is up? Christmas felt like a sigh of relief with all the tension in the air this past year. Yeah, what a weird. I mean, this year flew by too. But yeah, definitely a strange year. What's up, Mustang? Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate you. Yep. We are legitimized thanks to Mustang. Appreciate you. Yeah, my blood pressure's been it's been under control. Like I don't even take my meds anymore. I have them ready to go, but I switched up my diet, been exercising regularly. My blood pressure really hasn't been a problem for me. But yeah, ibuprofen anyway is bad for you. Shouldn't take it that often. I only do it to regulate my temperature. But I'm pretty sure it even causes like stomach bleeding and I don't know, a handful of fucking issues. Acetaminophen. It's a funny word. 2152. I don't know how they came up with 2120. Time served? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he'll be up for parole? It says earliest possible release date. Can he be paroled in 2120? I'm telling you, there could be like a miracle, some kind of scientific medical miracle. Yeah, it doesn't look like Richard Allen. I haven't met a whole lot of people that don't have a middle name. Parapoliticos. What's up, Parapoliticos? 8x7. Yeah, normally people are out of control. Okay, so it says Westville Control Unit, and the comment from Wife Lilith is in the control unit, you are locked in a cell 23 hours a day, out for 1 hour. They don't get to interact with other inmates. So I find it very ironic that he's back at Westville. Yeah, I totally forgot about that, Stephanie. Stephanie says, I found it ironic he was threatening to cut the guard's throat, and that's how the girls died. Welcome in, Kathy L. How many people think the authorities have the right person? Curious. I don't know. He was convicted by a jury who actually got to sit down, look at all the evidence in a way that most in the public haven't. They sat in a position where if there was any confusion between the group, they could even call back the evidence to re-examine it. They were given a folder with all of the evidence against Richard Allen. You know, they didn't have any of this conspiracy fog. You know, they just saw the information for what it was. They had the opportunity to watch those videos of him locked up doing all that sick shit. They didn't see a man being tortured. They saw a fucking lunatic that fit all these other accusations. We didn't have that opportunity. So it really doesn't matter what we think. In order to make that kind of decision, you would have to be in the same position as that jury, you know, because they were really the only ones put in the position to make that decision. Yeah, what do you think that is, Beth? I'm going to say possibility of parole. I'm not sure. What's up, Sparky? Joyous. Definitely joyous. It's been kind of a strange year, but other than that. So let's take a look at the poll. How was your Christmas? Either it was great, can't complain, or bah humbug. And I still want to hear from you 8% out there who are selecting bah humbug. I want to hear why you selected that. Are there any other known convicts at Westville, such as Jared Fogle, etc.? That's a good question. Damn, that'd be crazy. Richard Allen and Jared Fogle. What about that other scumbag, the Olympic coach? He might be in a federal prison, I think. I could be wrong. What do you mean, Stephanie? Only a guilty person gets on like that. I don't think I follow that. Hey, I mean, all the rabbit holes everyone went down, even law enforcement. The fact even the jury reviewed evidence. Dude's only alibi was he was there when it happened. He said so. Yeah, he didn't have an alibi. I mean, he didn't even there was nobody there that came forward and said, "Hey, look, yes, I was with Richard Allen that day." And the reason that they didn't come forward is because they can't lie. You know, you're under oath. Pretty sure you can get charged with some type of an offense if you lie in court like that. So, therefore, you're not coming up here to tell us about how Richard Allen was acting very strange that day. And you may, in fact, know why he blew you off for lunch and grabbed a six pack of beer and did what he did. You're going to tell a story of that, you know, of an angry person, maybe somebody that confronted you about something. Maybe there was some type of confrontation, but we'll never know because if they come forward and lie about it, you know, they just some people can't do that. They can't go into a courtroom and lie for people. They rather just plead the fifth or tell the defense like, "Hey, I'm not don't call me. You know, I'm not interested. I'll plead the fifth." Well, at least that's what they'll say to the prosecution because the defense won't want them to go up there. Because if they do go up there and tell the truth, the story that they tell is going to tell us is going to lead to or paint the picture of Richard Allen being the bridge guy, right? Like something happened for him to do what he did that day. And the people that came in contact with him throughout that morning, they know something was off with him. That's why he doesn't have an alibi. That's why nobody came forward because if they did, it wouldn't help him. American justice. He has no chance at getting out alive. He got 130 years, no parole, and he is in his 50s, 54, I think. So to get out, he would have to be 184 when he got out. That's what I'm saying. Like, why even sentence somebody to 100 years, you know? I don't get that. Yeah, he's guilty. He was convicted. He was convicted and sentenced to 2 counts of murder. What's up, Kenneth? Kenneth says, actually, not all the evidence, but what Gall allowed. Which part, Kenneth? The Odinism stuff? Or what was the other one? The geofencing data? What's up, Jeanette? Did they compare Richard to Bridge Guy in court? Yeah. Yep, they sure did. I think they were even like comparing the voice at the end there. Like they were able to do whatever they wanted. What's up, VIP? The fact that the jury got to ask questions before a witness was dismissed was unique, but so powerful. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the jury did what they needed to do. They did their job. So who cares about what Goal was doing and what she allowed? You know, the jury did, I think they did a good job. Not because they came back guilty, but just by the things that they were doing. I thought it was a good amount of time. that it took them to come to that decision, it all fit with a good choice. But the one thing that I think sealed it for them, and I don't know because I wasn't on the jury, was those videos. They had the opposite effect of what the defense was aiming for. They thought they were going to show the jury this guy being tortured, but all they were doing was putting a bow on the top of what the prosecution was saying. This guy's over here um, doing a lot of weird shit. He wasn't just doing the usual get me out of solitary confinement behavior with the stuff with feces. Because I mean, any one of us could break like that. You say, "Hey, I won't," but I've never been in solitary confinement. I don't know. I've always been very mentally strong, but I mean, you don't know. But typically, the folks that are trying to get out of there before they go crazy, they do that. They smear feces. That brings the attention. And then, in order to actually um, get them to pull you out of there, you have to then start to hurt yourself. So it's feces to get the attention, and then it's self harm to get released. So I think with that combination, you're guaranteed a shower because they can't send you to the medical without a shower. So it's really like your last ditch effort, to have any control of what the hell's going on. So it seems like anything more than a tactic, but he was doing more than that. Like he was masturbating and he was singing songs. I don't know, it was really weird. So for the jury to get to see all of that and then think about the crime and, they were able to basically, I think, build a profile. Like they had everything they needed to profile this guy and not only profile him, but look at him in the courtroom. You know, they're watching him, they're watching his family react to him. If the family, Richard Allen's family, knew anything, I guarantee the jury has an opinion about it just by watching them in that courtroom and how they were reacting and things like that. What's up, badass? Kathy L says, reason for asking is there is one that I know of who seems to think he is not the one. Oh, a YouTuber? No, there's a lot of people out there that think Richard Allen is innocent. But the truth is that they weren't there to make the decision. The decision's been made. They just don't what's the word, concede? They don't concede to the decision that the jury made. But the thing is they didn't get to see all of the evidence. So I don't get that part. What's up, Squeaky Will? If between now and the appeal court decision on a new trial, if Richard Allen confesses, say, another 300, 400 times at this rate, right, will that be enough to make his defenders and cheerleaders sit down and shut up? Honestly, I don't get it. I think it's a personality thing. Like I said, I look for patterns. Usually the people who are defending Richard Allen were the same people who were trying to accuse Kelsey. So I don't know how those two, either they did it. If in order for them to be correct, Richard Allen and Kelsey had to do this together. So make that make sense. But that's what I'm saying. There's a pattern, and it's never being right. What's up, Anthony? Happy holidays, my friend. Yeah, and if I don't see you guys for another few days, Happy New Year. How was your Christmas, Anthony? 49% who voted on this poll said great. 41 said can't complain. And I still haven't heard from the 10% who said bah humbug. Show yourselves. Honestly, I'm just curious, like, what's going on. It's more curiosity than anything. I don't want to go downstairs and get the other cough drop. I'm going with the hardcore Vicks. Oh, yeah, this shit is straight menthol. I feel like I took a spoonful of Vicks and shoved it in my mouth. I feel like this cough drop is more to like get your nose, clear out your nose a little bit. Me, I just need that tickling in the back of my throat to kind of simmer down a bit. The fuck is that? Paracetamol. Shadow says 100% they got the bridge guy. Richard Allen is the bridge guy. Yeah, it definitely makes sense to me. But regardless of what I think, the folks who had the best seat to make that decision, they said he's the guy. With all the information that I see, yeah, it makes sense to me. I mean, how do you not have an alibi? It's not that he doesn't have an alibi. It's like nobody was like willing to come forward and say, yeah, I had lunch with him. He seemed fine. But instead, if they would have said anything, they would have been like, yeah, I had lunch with him, but he was going crazy that day. Something was off about him. All right, well, we don't need you as a witness. I mean, think about it. Through the entire trial, not one we all know that he was with his mother and his sister. But not once did they ask him about his day-to-day activity. What's up, Anthony? Anthony Del Grosso says, bah humbug. Tell me why, Anthony. Tell me why. Sleuth, if you did get to interview him, what would you ask him? I would ask him what he was doing like, what happened that day? Like, what happened to you and what happened that day? How is this possible? Something happened. There's a recipe for disaster. What is that? Like, what the fuck made this happen? That's the only way you're going to know how to prevent it from happening to you, right? Especially if you're a parent. You guys all know the paranoia that I'm talking about. And some of you ladies who might live alone. There you go, VIP. Thank you. Larry Nassar. Where's he locked up at? Do you know? Yeah, there's a piece of shit for you right there. There's a story of corruption right there involving the FBI. I think some of the same players that were involved in the Delphi case. Dove Magic. For me, it's because Christmas doesn't feel the same. Also, I got no gifts. Sorry to hear that, Dove Magic. But remember, it's not about what you get. It's about what you give. Oh yeah, Nassar. Yeah, how's he still alive? So much for street justice. What's up, Ruckus? Good to see you, buddy. Cryogenics. Yeah. What's that movie? Is that Demolition Man? I just had a picture of him like a frozen Richard Allen. Do you know what year it is? Sorry to hear that, Hathers. Chaos on the holidays is never good. Did he? Good. Yeah, Jared is a sick piece of shit too. You guys should go watch that documentary they did on him. Man, fucking bizarre. It reminds me a lot of what the hell's his name from Britain, from the UK? Seville? Jimmy Seville? He was like our Jimmy Seville in a way. Kinda. American Justice says his wife even said the interview, you didn't tell me you went to the bridge. Yeah, you didn't tell me you went on the bridge. It's all half truths. Half truths. And not even that most of the time. 25% truths. What's up, Jackie? Happy with the twist acrylic pores plus? Damn, girl. Keegan Klein has got to have a hand in this case, don't you think? Yes, I do. Absolutely. And the only reason I think that is because I'm assuming. Is it assuming or presuming? Being presumptuous. But if you were to sit down with Richard Allen and he was actually going to tell you what happened, it would paint a clear picture, right? And that's the only reason. And I think that's why people didn't come forward. Something happened to him that day. Either the girls were targeted, right? The information that we do have leans towards that. But the real information would be coming from Richard Allen. Remember, he is the source, the number one expert when it comes to the Delphi case. Nobody knows more about it than him, right? As the convicted killer. And we don't know what 98% of that information. Like what triggered you? What was troubling you to begin with? And why Abby and Libby? He might just say, well, I got into an argument about what was happening to me as a child, stormed off. I was already on one. I think that there was drugs involved, honestly, not just alcohol. I think that's part of the half truth. I think that there was maybe even some serious drugs involved, and it could have just been a timing thing. Like a runaway train. Space prison. It just orbits the Earth. That's crazy. That's the fuck is the name of that dude? Let me look something up real quick. Why can't I remember his name? You guys, Pitch Black. The hell is his name in that movie? Riddick. There we go. That reminds me of those movies. Fucking Prison in Space. Perjury. Yep. What is that? A misdemeanor? Is that a felony or a misdemeanor? Curious minds want to know. Okay, now we're up to 11% of you saying bah humbug. So the poll question is, how was your Christmas? 47% said great. That's where I'm at. 42% said, yeah, I can't complain. Nothing special. Typical Christmas. But 11% of you said bah humbug. And if you're just joining us, guys, I apologize for the clinking and clanking of the cough drops. I'm pretty sick right now. So I'm a little delirious. So if I go off on a tangent, blame it on Sparky. She made me do it. Lila says, if I remember correctly, he will not be allowed out of the cell without being handcuffed and shackled while in CU. American Justice, you miss 4 meals. They force you. He never would miss 4, only 3. It came out in court. He was faking. Yeah, that's a good point. And we did a live stream a while back on feigning illness and malingering. And that was one of the things that they pointed out that the doctors, psychologists were looking for were patterns like that. So, good comment. Oh, nice, Audra. Sounds like a pretty nice gift. Sees through. What's going on? Not once did Rick, while in court, ever dispute that the group he passed were the same girls testifying. And why not? Dude, you're being charged with murder and nobody's going to say anything for you. There's his timeline right there. Rick is BG. The only one that stood up and did anything was his daughter. And even then, like, she was under a lot of pressure. His sister testified too, but I don't know if the sister who he was with that day, she never testified about what his demeanor was like. Like, nobody created a timeline of Richard Allen's movements from that day. His wife didn't come forward and say, well, he got up at 6:00 that morning like he always does. We had breakfast. Like, we don't know any of that. I gave him a kiss. I went to work and he went to go see his mother. That's when, I didn't see him till I got off work later that day. And if she didn't see him, what time did she get off work? So there may have even been a point where she's not wanting to testify because she would have to say something like, yeah, I was kind of wondering where he was. Like, he was supposed to be home at 2 and he didn't get home till 3 or till 4:30. And you can't stand up there and lie. But if it wasn't a lie, you would get up there and you would say, like, hey, my husband was with me that morning. He seemed fine. There was no issue. Like, why didn't anybody do that for Richard Allen? And anybody that's supporting him, have you even asked yourself that question? Like, what was he doing that day? And why don't you know that? And why anybody that would be able to explain that hasn't come forward to do that? Oh, that's awesome, Dove. But you do deserve some actual gifts. But sometimes it's all about the way you look at things. Badass says Bob Motta was on Vinnie Politano with the detective. Oh yeah, the private I don't know if it was. I think it was a private investigator talking about Odinist who murdered somebody. It never ends, unless that's a different episode. Because I know Bob Motta. He's on. He's been with Vinny a few times. Where'd you hear that at? That's news to me right there, American Justice. Later, Beth. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hey, what's up, Dark Side? Oh, just in case. Okay, are you answering the question of why he was sentenced? Excuse me. 65 years times 2? Just in case. Just in case we have miracles of modern medicine. Or if he is cryogenically frozen and for some reason gets lost in a basement and the year is 2150 and then they unfreeze him, not much of a punishment. It's more of a DOA sad story. I don't know what that means. Yeah, good question, Stephanie. I will never forget that sentencing. Spill the beans, Justice. Spill the beans. No more Shakespeare. To be or not to be. Squeaky Will says, after seeing the defiance that Kathy Allen exhibited after the verdict came down, I have little doubt now that she highly suspected her midget husband was good for those killings from early on. Yeah, why didn't she come forward? Why didn't she testify? I know as a wife you don't have to, but why wouldn't you? If the truth is going to help your husband, you would come forward. But if your truth helps the prosecution, you step back. So that tells me that her truth would have hurt Richard Allen in his case. So what could that have been? To me, I think it had to do with his behavior that day. Something might have been off. Confrontation. Maybe he didn't want to be home either. Like, I don't want to be with my mom and my sister, and I don't want to be with my wife or at home. I want to be away. Maybe he was just bundling up with the anticipation that he was going to be out all night. But why the face cover? Gull's the boss. Darkseid, don't be gullible. That's gull shit. Hey, Jerry got a Sleuth Crew t-shirt for Christmas. Bam. Would you look at that? Grunge says, is there enough evidence from the defense to get him another trial? I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about the appeal and the process and all that. From what I've read, it seems pretty difficult. Like, you need to have, like, it's not about the case, it's more about the trial and the process, you know? Like, did they get it right or did the judge, was the process fucked up? The process was fucked up and he didn't get a fair trial or his rights were violated or something. But from where I was sitting, everything went pretty smooth. It sounds like the rest of his life at this point. Hey, what's up, Lynn? How are you? The shadow. I want to see the enhanced photo that the police showed in court of the bridge guy. Me too. I'm right there with you. Should be available, actually. I wonder if we can start FOIAing all of this info at this point, or unless you have to wait on the appeal. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's true. Hather says some of the evidence that the jury asked to see again was the interview with Holman, and his voice could be heard. That's what I speculated, that they wanted to hear the voice. They watched all these videos of Richard Allen, talking to himself, talking to people, confessing, phone calls. So they got a pretty good idea of what his voice sounds like. Now let's bring back in um, the evidence of the killer's voice. Now that we've gotten familiar with his voice, let's hear the killer's voice. But I mean, you have people, conspiracy folks, that'll tell you, "Oh, well, all that's faked," and it's like, where do you draw the line? I'm all for a good conspiracy, guys, but like, at what point are you just wasting your own time? American Justice says the jury was watching the gallery hard. Hell yeah, I would be too. If I was on the jury, I'd be looking right at his family. Like, I would be looking at everybody, watching how they react, watching how Richard Allen reacts, reading his body language, reading their body language. Yeah, I subscribe to that, Hathers. Paper Pimp says, I'm not convinced 100% either way, but I do not. There was a lot more than just Richard Allen going on with this case. Too much lost evidence. Everything else, Indiana looking bad. I don't know. I think if you allow the defense team to kind of pull you down a narrative, a path, sometimes you forget whether or not that was your idea or if that idea was put into your mind. Because the truth is, why would you save all of the evidence? You know what I mean? If it's not relevant, they weren't asking about all the shit they threw away on Ron Logan. They didn't bring that up and say, hey, look how incompetent they are. It's like, why would you keep it? And if for whatever reason one piece of viable information slips through the cracks, like, oh shit, I dropped the ball there. I just don't understand why we would expect them to keep everything, especially the small department. Not saying if they were larger they'd be more efficient. I'm just saying. Anthony says innocent people are convicted all the time, but not in this case. There you go. And that sums it up right there. We're not here to say that it does not happen, because how many times have we here on this channel proven that it happens? This is no echo chamber. We don't shy away from the truth. And we're always willing to change trajectory. American Justice said his body language said a lot in court. Yeah, I heard he was rocking a lot, touching his face. Shit like that. VIP says, have you ever wondered if there was another reason why law enforcement was so sure BG was local beyond just knowing the area? Richard Allen was lurking online and got alerted that the girls were going to the bridge. Well, it's my opinion that the reason they thought the guy was local was based on the facts, the case facts, right? The location for one. The person would have to be familiar with, if not Delphi, somewhat of the area. Maybe traveling back from Logansport to Lafayette or something like that. But yeah, so first of all, you'd have to have knowledge of the location, the bridge, right? Whoever was on that video was very comfortable on that bridge, so they've most likely traversed it previously. Down the hill, how do they even know there's that you can go down the hill there? How do they know that it would be wise for them to go down there? And another thing is, how can you take a photograph at 2:05 and prove that the bridge is clear, right? You got front, back, and then just a few minutes later, you have a guy that's all the way on the south end of the bridge caught on video. Like, that means that he fucking was zipping on that bridge. Like, he made a decision and he knew that he could fly down that bridge, and that's what he did. So law enforcement, they were like, well, it's obvious to us this guy, he's not only familiar with this location, but this was not the first time that he was on that bridge, in my opinion. Is he back in safekeeping? Let's take a look at this, Lynn, whatever you can make of it. Wife Lola is telling us that she believes it is very similar to safekeeping. Facility location, Westville Control Unit. So, whatever control unit is. Happy New Year, Hathers. Another one in the books. Dove Magic says, I did. I complained. Complained about what? No? Yeah, there's no way, Stephanie. What's up, Wanda? We chose to do a white elephant Christmas at Mom's. My sister worded it Dirty Santa. I like that. 2 gifts brought by my niece and her spouse were naughty. Could have heard a pin drop. The look on my mom's face. It's pretty funny. I like doing the white elephant, except when somebody jacks you for the actual prize that you want. Where he parked, how he dressed. Like what were you doing, Richard Allen? Like why did you go to that trail that day and do that? It's a simple question. That's what I heard, badass. But if you go to Kathy Allen's 2018 Facebook, he's hiking a damn mountain, and he looks like he's in decent shape. He's not all skinny like he was at the end of 2016. You know, he didn't look like a tweaker anymore. Squeaky says Richard Allen was never in solitary confinement. Oh yeah, he was in what's the term? A person in solitary doesn't get a tablet, internet, doctor visits, and 700 plus hours of yapping on the phone with his enabling mommies. Yeah, I think it was safekeeping, is what it is. Vicky D, welcome in. It wasn't up to anyone other than the jury, and the jury wasn't tainted or biased. Exactly. The jury was in the courtroom, and they saw and heard more than we did. And what I've heard throughout, he is BG. Yeah, you got to go with what the jury said. So, based off of how it looks from where I'm sitting, and then if you include the verdict and what that jury had to say, like, yeah, he's a guilty man. Anybody arguing about that, I mean, it's very strange. And if I was to even attempt to argue it, that's why I go right to where was his alibi? Like, why did nobody talk about what he did that day? But remember, we interviewed Bob Mata, and Bob Mata was real close with Alan and Kathy, and he told us live on the live stream that, yeah, it is a fact that he was in Peru with his mom and his sister. And remember, that was part of his confession. Isn't it funny that part of his confession is the only part of truthful information that we have about what he did that day? Doesn't that strike any of his supporters as odd? The only piece of information about what he actually was doing is part of his confession. So that leads me to believe that the rest of that confession is accurate. Grunge Truck, vitamin C. I've been eating airborne. I think that's a pretty good source. Lots of water. So I think that's why I'm going to be sick a lot less amount of time than my wife and my daughters were. They were sick for like 4 days. What's up, Lulu? Oh, gosh. Anthony says, if you hurt yourself in solitary confinement, you go to suicide, which is way worse. You're naked with a smock on. Oh, yeah, one of those suicide things. I think they refer to it as caveman, looking like a caveman. And I agree with that. It's like some heavy ass thing you got to wear. It just kind of covers you up like a heavy hospital gown. You know, something that you can't tie in a knot. Yeah, rolling his eyes at the judge. Like what, dude? And then I mean, to me that's enough. What the jury had to say, the probable cause we proved was accurate. We debunked the Franks memo. I mean, people think we don't do any work, but I mean, we debunked the shit out of that. All the way down from Westfall to the Yellow Rope, debunk city over there. So, yeah. Yeah, I can see how you could say that, VIP. Modern Cards and Crime, welcome in, says, as soon as the trial states a lot of newbies to the case started on, this Richard Allen is innocent nonsense. Yeah, I noticed that. It was huge news. Like, hey, we made an arrest in the Delphi case. For the majority of the planet, they were like, "Oh, duh, yeah, that's obviously him." you know? I'm downright no couch surfing, so Christmas wasn't the greatest. Say a prayer for me. I will. Just stay positive. You got this. Rescue All Dog says, I would ask him what the first month of hiding in plain sight was like. Oh, I guarantee he got off on that. But I also believe the reason it was so easy for him is because of his personality disorder or disorders, for all we know. Vegas, what do you think he did with the trophies he took from the crime scene that day? I think he has them buried somewhere near the CVS building or somewhere near his mom's home. Or maybe even somewhere like in Mexico. Some place that he knows there's not going to be a lot of traffic. And it's not weird for him to be there. Yeah, he is lucky, Lynn. What's up, Kathy L? Goal to me was Auntie Bev 2.0. Who's Auntie Bev? Sleuth Reloaded says Nassar is in. Hold on a second. Nassar is in prison in Michigan. Badass says, I think the trophies are in a storage unit or in his mother's house. I don't know. I think they would be if they had any kind of a storage unit. I think it would have been part of the search warrant. Only up from here, Anthony. Keep a steady pace. Tucson. Yeah, I know that there's a federal prison out here somewhere. Yeah, that's a good point. Modern Cards and Crime says they are both serving life, so I guess it doesn't matter. But how could Libby be so unlucky as to have KK and Richard Allen after them on the same day, same time, but not be connected? Well, that's not confirmation, though, right? That's kind of like a coincidence. And usually a coincidence is more, and I'm not calling you ignorant, is it's more our ignorance of, let's say, statistics, right? So we think that it's insane. Like there's no way that that's possible that you have KK messaging Libby to meet that day, and then also Richard Allen who committed the murder. It's not random. But the truth is, if you were to really, really dig and had the permission to search all the records of that area, you would see a lot of sickos. If you could access all of these different devices, you would see everything. Like it would be more disturbing than you could ever imagine. You would see dozens of Keegan Kleins and a handful of Richard Allens, just all right there. And I think that that goes for any location. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. This is why we do true crime, because we're trying to let people educate people on how, I guess, prevalent is the word that this kind of shit is. And we're trying to get to the bottom of what the recipe is for this. Like, what the hell? What could create Richard Allen, this guy who has no criminal record, seems to be a normal family man, works at the CVS, doesn't really stand out. A lot of people didn't really remember him. So, and the folks that did remember him or worked with him said he was kind of a creep. But how does it happen that he murders two young girls? Like, how does this happen? I mean, why are we sitting here right now in a live stream titled Delphi Murders Richard Allen Back Home? How did we get to this point? How do you get from having lunch with your mother and your sister to becoming a double murderer? Like, there's a story there. Something not only happened to Richard Allen, something happened that day. Something pushed him. I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know what these monsters are made of. And I wish I did. Sly Stallone, Wesley Snipes, Demolition Man. Let's go to the Taco Bell. It's a pretty good movie. Is Kathy still going to stay married to him? I mean, from what I've heard so far, they're pretty set on the appeal. Remember the whole "it's not over" comment? So I'm assuming that they are going, that she's supporting him. And the thing is, as long as he stays in denial, she'll stay in denial, right? As long as she has, and it really is a form of brainwashing. Like when you sit down with those defense attorneys and they have their objection and everything else is collateral damage, they don't care. They're going to brainwash you into and convince you that this is the best course of action. Like, trust us. And they're going to talk to you from two different angles, right? That's how brainwashing is. It's usually a group of people kind of talking at you, like from all angles. And then you start thinking, like, what the fuck? You start questioning your own reality. Christy Hunter, what's up? I presently came upon one of his PI that worked on this case, Erica Morris, and she is an advocate for the missing. And after getting to know Erica a bit, I believe that have convicted the wrong man. Oh, yeah? Ireland had its own Seville, too. I don't know that. I don't know the story of Ireland's Seville. Congenital visits in prison? Is that anything like conjugal? I'm sorry to hear that, Audra. Yikes. All right, sending prayers that way. That's scary. Yeah. I can see that, badass. It's kind of what I was thinking. VIP, do you think Kathy kept a secret that Richard Allen talked to law enforcement about being in the area? If she truly believed he was cleared, you'd think she'd share it with her friends. I don't know. I mean, she didn't testify for him. You got to ask yourself why. You know what I mean? If telling the truth is gonna benefit your husband, you would most likely do it, right? I don't know, maybe you guys know something I don't know about, some type of strategy. I know it's never really good to testify when you're the accused. I've seen that before, but the wife, if she's there to be like, "Yeah, I woke up, gave him a kiss in the morning, everything was fine. I didn't see him till later, and when I did, he had a he looked normal. We had a normal day." If that's what you have to say, why not say it? What's up, Joe? Grunge truck. I give myself a gift and eat edibles and go running with a good my. Yeah, there's nothing better than a good run. That's what I told my wife. I was like, I'm gonna work back up to getting to running. My New Year's resolution. I have a pretty long list. I'm gonna do more streaming, so we're gonna definitely be live more. So I look forward to that. Hey, we got a super chat by VIP. Thank you so much. So we have two sponsors, Mustang and VIP. Says Diane Erskine's statement. Abby said, "Don't leave me here," on the video, and Libby didn't. So when the trial was almost too grueling, they didn't leave. Sleuth, thanks for never leaving the girls. Thanks, VIP. Yeah, it sounds like Libby could have ran. you know, she didn't say, if you look at all the details and the facts about what happened on the south end of that bridge, she was already off the bridge. And when she's taking the video, it's my understanding that Abby is there on the bridge and the bridge guy is not far behind her. At any point between when she started filming and the point that the actual bridge guy gets to her, she could have taken off at any point. So anybody that tries to take that away from her is scum, in my opinion. Like, that is a hero. Like, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to film you. I'm not running. Like, this is most likely my friend Abby's first time crossing the bridge. Like, don't leave me here. Like, this is my first time. Don't leave me here. And she didn't. Let's see. American Justice says Libby's mom said in her impact statement, "We deserve the truth. Put me on your visitors list. I'll listen." Dang, that's how you get in that motherfucker's mind right there. Yeah, put me on the visitors list. I'll talk with you. You want to have a real conversation? Lulu says, I wonder if he snapped after getting into it with his mom and wife. That's what I'm thinking. Well, I think his wife was at work. So do they normally have breakfast together? Do they wake up together? At some point, you usually wake up your spouse, right? Like whoever gets up earliest that day, by a flick of a light or the shower coming on or something. Like, was there any interaction? Yeah, I think it's just insane that nobody has asked that question. Why hasn't anybody come forward? The reason they haven't come forward is because there's nothing good for Richard Allen in that information. There might even be, and this is speculation, but there might even be drug use. Like, yeah, he was doing drugs, recently. Like things were rough for him. He was going through a really hard time. You don't want to come up into a murder trial and say that to a jury. Like, yeah, he was acting really weird that day. Like all the last 2 months, he's been kind of acting strange. You go and tell a trial or a jury trial that, or a trial jury that, that's not going to be good. Audra says, if I could ask one question and get an answer, I would want to know why Abby and Libby. What did they do? Was it nothing to do with them, or was it planned? One thing I've noticed, Audra, covering these cases here on my channel, on our channel, is oftentimes there is no reason. They have these psychopaths sitting in an interrogation room and they ask him, like, why did you do this, man? They're like, I don't know. I was pissed off at the world. I felt somebody owed me something or the world owed me something. I've always had something new. And they often say this too. I always knew something was wrong with me. They talk about this darkness, the fantasies. And then a series of stressors, bankruptcy, something financial. Mix that with what we know about his personality disorders. Boom. There's your recipe right there. All right, guys, we're going to catch up on the chat and get out of here. So if there's anything you want to add, let me know. I'm going to close out the poll. So if you haven't participated in the poll yet, please do so now. If you want to, because we're about to close it out. How you doing, Joe? Yeah, I always find that to be a good question. Like, if you think this man's innocent, if he was free today, would you leave your children with him? But honestly, it doesn't matter what we think, guys. The dude's been convicted. I mean, it matters what you think because I care about what you think. And obviously, I have my opinion because that's what my channel is. It's just my amateur opinion. But I mean, it's already been settled. I don't think he's going to get an appeal either. There was nothing there to appeal, right? There's no fuel for that. You got it, Mustang. I'm going to go take some flu medicine and go lay down, maybe watch a movie. Does admission count as evidence and 3 timeline changes and no alibi? Yeah, why'd your story change? And really, he didn't have a story. He said, oh, well, I left at this time. Okay, where'd you go, man? And if you left at about 1:30, that means you must have gotten there at what, 12? Maybe even earlier than that. And if that's the case, you weren't. What time did you leave your mom and your sister? They're going to be like, oh, well, he left us at like noon. He left us at about 1, 12:30. They're going to tell a story of him leaving at the exact amount of time that, it would take to get to the Monon High Bridge, the same distance in the same time. Exactly. From Peru to Delphi. How long would that take? They're going to tell that story. Right? So, okay, you left at 1:30. I mean, that's fine. Where did you go? Can you verify that information? Can you validate that at all? I mean, think about it, guys. The entire trial, nobody ever talked about what he did that day. The only person that ever brought it up was Richard Allen in his confession. He told Dr. Walla, I was with my mom, my sister in Peru. They went to lunch. I bailed, picked up a 6-pack of beer, went to my house just to grab my jacket and layer up, and then I went to the trails. Saw Abby and Libby, wanted to sexually assault them. During that process, I was scared off by a white van, forced them across the creek, did what I did, covered them with sticks, and bailed. So if we're getting verification from people like Bob Mata saying, yeah, he did, in fact, it's been verified that he was in Peru with his mother and his sister. Okay. Well, if that part's verified, that means that the beginning part of his confession is accurate. So that leads me to believe that the rest of that confession would most likely, right, follow the first half. What's up, Jojo? There you go, Lulu. Life can't be too bad. You got a device and an internet connection. Could always be worse. Yeah, that's right. And the sentencing. That was the Christmas present. Close the books. They can talk appeal all they want. Do we know who his defender is? His public defender? He should have a new one now, I believe. Four non-blondes? I don't know what that is. Isn't that a band? VIP, I think it was more like he was testing the waters. Like, let's say I did do it. Like, what would you say then? They could have been like, well, I'll sever ties with you. I'll divorce you. I'll leave you. I will not support you through this ordeal. But yeah, I mean, you could be right as well. He may have been looking for a reaction from them, and I could see that too. Like, what do you think about that now? Like, I'm the bridge guy. How you feel about that? Like, you're not so smart now, are you? Kind of like he's going down, he's taking his whole ship with him. Yeah, there you go, Joman. If he thought it was bad before, Excuse me. Dang, thanks for the Cash App. That was very generous of you. Thank you. Thanks for the comment too. I will. I appreciate you. Sparky, that's fine. Oh, and I know you can too. All right, let's zip on down here and then we'll bail. Yeah, Joe, and I think that's what the jury that's what they were looking at when they were able to see those videos of him locked up and doing all that weird stuff, right? I think that's what they seen. Hey, what's up, LA Wilkes from the Thin Black Line? Another great YouTube channel. Yeah, me too, Dark Side says I definitely do feel bad for his daughter. She's gonna need a father in life. It's too bad. Yeah, another victim. Part of the nuclear fallout is what I call it. Yeah, you may not have been in the center of the blast, but you're catching that radiation and that shock wave. Lynn says the defense knows he was guilty. I don't know. I feel like they've mastered the art of dealing with that, right? We're not here to say whether or not he's innocent or guilty. We're just here to defend, defend against the prosecution and the court and advise. Hey, Betsy, how many beers were missing from the fridge? Laugh out loud. Where did he drink those? Yeah, where's the beers? He says he picked up a 6-pack. Where did he pick it up from? Don't tell me it was the damn Marathon gas station. Where did he pick up the beer from? Did he go to CVS? Get his employee discount? Right? Where's that footage? Modern Cards and Crime says lots of goofy, contrarian opinions here. Not based in reality and have not been following the case for any significant period of time. So then how can you make that statement? How do you know if it's contrary or not? How do you drink 3 beers? Weird. She's out of school. She's married. She's successful. She's going to be fine. The only one with the guts to come up and say something. Him shaking his head, yes, told me he did it. What about the rocking and the touching of the face and rolling his eyes? What is all that? I can see like if somebody's sentencing you to the max, I mean, you're gonna fucking roll your eyes. Doesn't mean you're guilty. But she said you continue, kind of like alluded to the fact that he's been doing that throughout the process, like rolling his eyes. VIP says the dumpster behind CVS is very prominent. Only wish there was a camera from McDonald's or something that caught him going to the dumpster to line up his story about throwing out the box cutter. Yeah, that's a good point. Be almost impossible to trace now, but man. Yeah, that was part of the confession too, right? The box cutter that he left, and then he threw the box cutter away in the CVS dumpster. Yeah, I forgot about that part. Jojo, he was moved back to Westville? Question mark. Yep, he's back home. His forever home. Here, we'll finish with this email. And I won't give out the name, but you can claim it in the chat if you want. But these look like reasons for the appeal to be approved. Odinism, confessions, alleged judicial bias among issues Richard Allen could raise on appeal. What's next for Richard Allen after Delphi murders conviction? Oh, okay. I see what this is. It's like a list. But yeah, I don't think the Odinism, there was no nexus. So, it's not like Gull made a some kind of shotgun decision, right? She was simply following the rules of the courtroom. You don't want a distraction if there's no connection. Oh yeah, I remember that, Sparky. Yeah, that was fucked up. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing better. Yeah, you hang in there, Anthony. Comment has some articles about naming those people on court TV. Okay. That must be what that was all about. American Justice says, I watched his reactions in court along with watching the jury and everything else. Should shoot me an email. Like to pick your brain. Shit, you should come on the show. You can remain anonymous. What's up? Shout out to the UK, Miss Jawl. Reddit. Dang, you're braver than me, Jojo. Reddit? I don't get it. I did a live on another channel about everything I've seen. Oh, really? Go check it out. Maybe send me that link. Yeah, you're welcome on if you want to. But I'll definitely go see what you had to say. The Comet. Shout out to the Comet. I think you might be right. All right, I'm gonna zip on down here and catch a few names that I missed. Hey, none of your business. Welcome in. Yeah, no new evidence. American Justice says yes, you can do it for you. What was said at the presser is true. Nick McClellan said to get the records. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Anthony. Sure, he saw him rolling his eyes at the judge. Not good look to the jury. Yeah, I mean, they had a front row seat. You know what I mean? And if they had any doubt, they were able to say, hey, can we please, I need to look at this again. You know, if I'm not sure about this, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Good to see you, Laura C. Who else did I miss? Let's see, let's go to wife. A friend of Rick's told me last week he hadn't heard the Down the Hill clip until after Rick was arrested. And as soon as he heard it, he got chills because he knew it was his voice without a doubt. So I'm wondering if that's what the jury was doing, comparing that audio to. I mean, I would. Doesn't mean that he's a killer, but I mean, just just to be safe. Like I feel like this is him, but certain things that I would really like to kind of come back on and examine a little more closely. Let's listen to the voice. Let's compare the voice. Makes sense to me. I think Lulu. I think that was in the second confession or the second interview. Hey Sharon, how's it going? Has anybody from the jury spoken out? Not that I know of, but I do suspect that they will, or expect that they will, if they haven't already. All right, guys. Sorry if I didn't get to your comments. I should have put the timer on, but it was good to see all of you. Vegas Badass, Betsy Ross. Thanks Mustang and VIP for sponsoring today's live stream, and also for the Cash App that was provided. Thank you. Shout out to all my members. Thank you for keeping me afloat, and all of the mods out there who work hard to keep the chat chill and to support the channel. Thank you. And all of my members, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't think so, Anthony. He's not telling us part of that story. I'm thinking maybe some heavy drugs. Or if not a six pack, maybe the half truth is some kind of hard alcohol. Hey, what's up, Blind Squirrel? Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, mods, crew member, and visitors. Thanks, Blind. Thanks, Sparky. All right, guys, this is basically our 4-minute warning. Yeah, I think you might be right. I definitely suspect that he might have been on hard drugs that day. And I'm not just basing that on what happened. I'm basing it off of the way he looked in all of those photographs. How skinny he is compared to what he looked like in 2018. Very different. And it was only a year, you know. Westville, Lala. Here, let me pull that up. Oh, I already pulled it down. But yeah, Westville. That's why we titled this Richard Allen Back Home. And that's true, Anthony. Anthony was one of my first subscribers. That's why it's always good to see you. You even called in one time, dude, and we had it kind of went viral a little bit. It was a good discussion. So you have a happy new year as well. You too, Jill. Happy New Year. Thank you, Jackie. Jeanette. Replay crew, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of what you think about today's live stream. We didn't catch you during the live, but we'll catch you in the comment section. JL says Odinism. Thanks, Blind Squirrel. I appreciate that. Four, what is it? Four non-blondes. Good to see you, Charles. Happy New Year. If I don't see you guys, I'm definitely going to try to do another live stream here tomorrow if you guys want to hang out. Thank you, Lulu. American Justice, thanks for commenting. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they couldn't even bring charges, let alone worry about an appeal. Yeah, Lynn. That's when I was like, oh, I'm not taking YouTube serious at all. I remember saying, I'm doing one live stream. Then I did 2. Then I did 3. Then I did a dozen. Then I took off my mask. And then eventually I was just like, fuck it. I'm not going anywhere. You guys lifted me up. Yeah, Anthony, I took a few days off and then I got sick. Well, the family got sick, so I was taking care of them and doing all that. Yeah, I was in a house full of sick people, but I hadn't been sick, right? But you know, it's the holidays. There's like so much shit you got to go running around doing. Forget about a gift for somebody here, over there, you know. It's hectic. So I took some time off from YouTube and then boom, about 2 days ago, I got hit. Yeah, I remember you, Lynn. sleuthintuition@gmail.com. If YouTube creators and subscribers had the evidence law enforcement had, we would have solved this crime years ago. Yeah. That's fucking the truth right there. Thank you, V. Good to see you. All right. Happy New Year's, guys. If I don't see you, I'm pretty sure I will. I'm going to go get some food, get some medicine in me, and maybe try to take a little nap. And maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow. So shout out to all of you who caught the live stream. Replay crew. Haven't forgot about you. Peace, guys.